Clarkson tool and cutter grinder Mark 1, light refurb, part 9. Can you believe it? This is the last part already. Where did those 3 months go? In this video, I'm assisted by my grandson. Well, I say assisted. Grandad, what does this do? Grandad, Grandad. And then I have a little rant about something topical, but you can jump over that. That's not a problem. Hope you enjoy it. Well,
take a picture of me.
A picture of you? Yes, yeah, because you're behind the camera, aren't you? No, I know. True to their word, Simply Bearings gave me... Just a minute, I'm videoing. True to their word, Simply Bearings refunded the full cost of those economy bearings. And I don't have to send them back. And don't play with the tripod because you'll make it all jerky. So, anyway, this package has arrived. And this package is the belt. As you can probably gather, there's a young man with me in this room right now. Do you want to come round this side and say hello? No? Apparently not. I'm getting funny looks.
I do it.
What?
I do it.
Cover this up because they can't see this bit. Yeah? No, I'm not pushing you away, you nana. I just want to cover this bit up so I don't have to edit it out later. Come forward. Come here. Shall we turn this round and you can see yourself? Can you see yourself? Oh, you're bigger than I thought you were. There you are, yeah? I'm just covering up your school badge. I think that's best, really, on this. Have you eaten that already? Right. Do you know what this is? It's a machine. It's a grinding machine. And a good friend has let me borrow this, so I'm just doing some work on it. And then we're making it into a video series so people can see what we're doing, yeah? Right, okay. Well, you said hello now, haven't you? So we'll carry on with it, yeah? I've got to move my hand here. That's better. Stay that way.
What's this machine?
Well, that's a press. That's for, if I move this, I don't know what they can see now. If I move this up and down, this thing comes down and it squashes things. Up, and I need to cover that up.
What's this machine?
It's a CNC router. It's for making, I can write Haxby Shed with it, look, like this. Yeah? So like that, oh yeah. Haxby Shed, you see? I did it with that machine. But anyway, I need to get back to that sometime.
What's this machine?
What's that machine? Well, that's for getting springs off car suspension units. It's like when your car goes up and down when you go over a bump, there's a big spring and it does like this, but sometimes it breaks, so you've got to use something like this to change it. It's a sandblaster. I'm just covering this badge up, right? I can't edit all this out. That's better. Stay that way. Yeah, you put your hands in there and then you get air and it blows inside and it blows sand onto things and it makes them clean.
No, but yeah. I don't want to get sandy.
No, you won't get sandy if you wear these gloves, okay? Right, jolly good then. Let's leave it there. Try again. Is there anything that you're not going to fiddle around with? That's a vacuum cleaner. Have you not seen one of those? So this should be 1050 mil. Yeah, it says on it 2 by 30 by 1050. It's got a direction of travel. And yeah, that's about 40.5 inches, something like that. And it was £8.50. AliExpress, of course. You can see your face, yes. Now then, let me just shut this door. Because we've got too much light coming in. All right, are you ready? Now don't put your fingers in here, all right? Otherwise it'll pull your finger off. Yeah? Don't laugh at me, I'm serious, right? Okay? It is, isn't it? We've just got a little bit of a slapping noise, but I think that will settle down. But this is almost at the absolute end of its travel. So if this stretches a bit, we're going to struggle. Well, it's okay though, isn't it? Good. Keep your hands away from this, won't you?
Today, at school,
Yes.
say kicking car, we say...
Kicking car?
No, for kicking car at school you say...
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
All right. This wheel doesn't really have a dome on it, so I'm going to try to put one on and then at least get this to run in the centre. And I may have to swap this end pulley round the other way, because if this is walking off this way, if I can get it to stay on, it might be too far that way. I don't know yet. Oh, it smells. Oops. Now I could probably get that belt to run more in the centre if I machine more of the pulley away, but it's quite tough stuff, so we'll just leave it as it is. It's near enough, I think. Well, it's a bit louder with the guard on, but it's much less of a coffee grinder than it used to be. It's table day. Now let's see if I've got this nut right. So do you remember? That's got about, oh, I don't know, 0.5 millimetre plus of up down on it. So if I set that to the bottom of its travel, sight that on there, I'll zoom in, you'll see this nut's too low in that position. But if I raise this to the top of its travel, do you remember we added something to this surface when I made that nut? Because with the old nut, you couldn't get it at the right height. So I bring it to the top of its travel now, clamp it up, and it's too high. So we can get that to the right height now. So I'll take this off now and I'll try the table on. Now I was adjusting the gib on this table on the bench over there. I think I might have got it a bit too tight. Yes, I've got that too tight. Oof. I've already cut myself on this. Now whilst I'm fiddling with this, let's talk about something. If you follow the channel, you know that I've got a little Volkswagen electric car, an E-Up. It's the 2020 model, which has got the bigger battery. That's better. And I find it quite nippy. And I looked at the specs. Oh, that's as loose as anything now. I looked at the specs, and it said 0 to 60, which is 97 kilometers per hour. 0 to 60, 11.9 to 12.5. Well, I've been driving long enough to know that my car's faster than that. What have I done wrong here? Because now it's bumping on something. Oh, it's the nut. I've just pushed the table on from the back and you can see the clearance there. Pulls forward, no problem, till it gets to here. And this section rises up. These are rough old machines. And I can see a score mark here, which might have been made by me. So to get back to the story, I do a 0 to 60 test, 11.2. So the manual says 11.9 to 12.5, and it's 11.2. And 0 to 30 is 3.5 seconds, so it's very nippy. Now my son has a 4-litre Jaguar, and it's about 3.2 seconds to 30 miles an hour. And my car is 3.5 seconds. So why am I telling you this? Well, because it's a very consistent theme with this particular car. It's almost impossible to find out all the things that it does, and it seems like Volkswagen have tried very hard to make the actual spec of the car a big secret. And they certainly don't like telling customers what it does, because consistently I've had problems and struggled to find out about the car. So when I first got it, it would only charge at half speed, so that's about 3.7 kilowatts hours, 3.7 kilowatts, that's it. And I went to the dealers, and the dealers gave me a load of blah blah about, oh, it depends on your house and all sorts of other stuff, because they didn't understand. Well, it was just a setting in the app, wasn't it? And now the car's reminded me it needs a service. Well, it doesn't need a service. I've only had it a year. It's only been a year since the service. So the dealer I bought it from, which was a proper Volkswagen main dealer, had put it on the wrong service plan, because that's the service plan for a petrol car, or a gas car if you prefer to say that. And it's just a blooming annoyance, because, you know, why would you try and keep the performance of your car, oh, look at that already, you know, a secret from your customers? And to me, it just underlines the absolute arrogance of the established auto companies. They're too damn lazy to tell you what the car does. And there's quite a few features on that car that are not listed, and I know they're there. Now, you might say, well, Paul, hang on, let's look at the camera, I'll tell you. Hello, can you hear me? You might say, well, Paul, get over yourself. Why do you care? You know, have you not got enough to worry about? Well, I worry about those 35,000 people who work for Volkswagen in Germany that will lose their jobs by 2030, and probably the other 35,000 people who work in the supply chain. All because of this kind of arrogance that they don't put the customer first, let's put it that way. Enough. Did you see that this slides to the end now with just a little bit of filing? Let's get back to this. Ford are doing all right with their electric cars here, and of course the Koreans as well. And Volkswagen does have a good range with the IDs. But I just wish they'd get away from this kind of idea that, you know, we make things, you buy them, you enjoy them, don't ask any questions. It's such a wrong thinking way of doing things. I think 26% of cars sold in this country last month were EVs. And in Germany, I think it's 18%. So UK is really encouraging it at the moment. And I'm not an EV maniac. I still have a diesel car. I haven't tightened the nut up yet. I'll get it aligned first off. The nut's tight now. Get it to this end before I clamp it. And if it's right here, it should be right everywhere. And no backlash. Perfect. Now, before I fit this gear with the handle that goes in there, the shaft, that grub screw has been working loose, obviously for years, so I'm going to pocket the shaft where that grub screw locates. Hopefully that'll do the trick and it won't work loose anymore. The problem is the shaft is so soft. Look how easily that cuts. There's some really sharp edges on this. I cut myself earlier. The table slipped out of my fingers and I grabbed it. I've put the rack in already. I've just cut myself again. This thing is razor sharp. Beware. Right. So this has to have enough travel, hasn't it? So it must be, in this position, it must be over here. I've got it in the middle of the stroke. And I can feel that screw going into the pocket that I made, but I think I'm slightly offline because it's making it a bit tight. Now I can deal with it here, look, but that key is really mashed up. Yeah, it's only a clamp fit, look. Just give it a bit of freedom, it'll be okay. Oh, and of course it adjusts the position anywhere I want it. That's a bit better. Interestingly, this gear is a bit out of line with the rack, but there's nothing I can do about it. That's how it was made. Oh, by the way, I've worked out what these two holes are for. When you're grinding cutters, you've got to index them, and that's often against a spring leaf. But that has to be held in something, and when this was stock, as standard, it would have come with a holder bar, which could go into one of these two holes, according to the setup or whatever cutter you were doing at the time. Well, that holder bar's long gone. But that's what the holes are for. Try not to cut myself again. Lots of sharp edges. That's on. I don't know what those two holes are for. They're not threaded. I think that's looking pretty good. I don't at the moment see any degree scale around this here. You'd think there would be, wouldn't you? So you could go 90 this way and then this way, 45, get it exact. Curious, isn't it? This nut is too tall, look. That's why it's all bashed up at this side. Quick job on the lathe. That's better. There's something wrong with this plate that has the scale on it. It rocks, look. But when I look at this surface, it appears to be flat. So I need to hunt that down next. Well, there seems to be a little bit of a rise on this side, on this face here. So I've just clocked it up to be straight this way. And I'll just skim over these faces here. It's just touching it. I'm not certain it's this, the problem. But if we square this off, we'll know, won't we? That's seated properly now. No rock. All this is pretty basic. There's a scribe on there, but I'll have to check whether or not the line lines up with 0. It's a pretty flaky line, to be honest. There. It's taken quite an amount of fiddling and fettling just to get this to go together smoothly without jamming up. It's quite a close fit. These screw holes here are also for holding indexing spring leaves or whatever you call them. This gives us an index of 16. There's 16 ramps. So you would click over the blade, turn it back, click over, turn back. And you could use it the other way around, I suppose, with that at this end, although that's probably less likely to be required. These are my tool holder adapters, 5/8, 1/2 inch, 3/8, quarter. But I also have another one which is 5/8, but it has a very different thread in it. It's ever so fine. So maybe it came off another machine, I don't know. You might be able to tell me. They look very similar in style, but you see the difference, how fine that one is. Where does that go? Well, apart from fixing up the light, it's done. But I have to tell you, as of right now, I've no idea how to use it. Usually these things become clear as you're working on them, but nah, this is going to need a proper read of the manual. Well, we're almost done with this thing. I straightened out the lamp brackets, connected it up. That was another couple of hours gone. I spent some time looking in the operator's manual. I kind of get the idea now. So I've set up this end mill to relieve the flutes on the end. Now grinding off straight at 90 is easy enough. The trick is in grinding the relief angles. So you can see I've got this tilted up and presented it to this cup so I could grind the relief on that spiral end there. But the trick is, and this is speaking with no experience, you can only grind to there, because if I went further, I'd wipe out the flute, the edge, this side. So it's quite tricky stuff. I'd have to index it, and so I'd have to set up the indexing leaf on here to do it, and do each one in turn. For this sort of cutter, a slot cutter I suppose, you'd have a setup something like this between centres, and you play about between the level of this and this to cut the reliefs at the back. So you can imagine if this was lower, and I'm not saying this is right, but I believe it's the case. If this was lower, you're going to end up grinding the relief, whereas this is on the centre line with this, you will grind these cutting edges here. So if you know, you know, but I'm just trying to figure it out, right? And you'd have a different stone, not the cup stone, the plain circular stone for this, I think. So that's the general idea. We learn more. You see that hole? It goes right through into here. So you can drop a pin in there, a quarter pin, and set that this way. And if you rotate that round here, there's another hole in this base, so you can set it true that way. Now, I wouldn't trust it. I'd have to measure that, because I don't know if that was done by Clarkson or somebody else. I would check it. But anyway, that's useful. Now, to be honest, cutter grinding is not my main interest. You can get these as cheap as anything from the Auto Jumble flea market. I suppose if you were in the middle of a job and it chipped or something, you could just brighten it up. That could be useful. But my main interest is drill sharpening. They do make a jig. They made a jig for these. But to buy one now is probably £600 or perhaps $800 US and more, actually. You can nearly pay as much for one of those as you would for the whole machine. I've got some idea. I've seen pictures of them. The way they work, they cantilever over on a sort of an angle pivot, and I don't have the dimensions of those angles and so on. So I'd be on the lookout for that. If anybody's got a drawing, let me know. I've seen photographs, but a drawing is probably what I really need to try and copy one of those. Anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this series. Thanks for watching.